kaiju, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here, and I am bringing you another SH MonsterArts review, and this time it's going to be a little bit of a blast from the past because we're going to be taking a look at the SH MonsterArts Fire Rodan. One of the very few figures in the line to not have a repaint and be a few years old. Some fans are still wondering if it's worth ponying up the, nearly 150% markup that the figure goes for today. And I gotta be completely honest with you, this figure just might tickle your fancy. Or is it antiquated? Don't know, but let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. Before we get this review started, I just wanted to let you all know this review is made possible thanks to all of my patrons over on Patreon, because this is the Patrons Pick Review for August 2018. So if you're interested in maybe picking out the next Patrons Pick Review, head on over to my Patreon and see what that is all about. Alright, let's dig in to the review. If there's one thing that's really well known about me in terms of reviews, you know that for the MonsterArts line, lately, I've been calling it out on some pretty poor paint application alongside some pretty poor decal applications, and yeah, Bandai could do a much better job. Here for Fire Rodan, we only have a couple of very small issues, and I'm just going to call them out right now. Rodan is actually kind of spiky, so the spikes that you see on his torso for the front and on his back, unfortunately, they will get some paint scrapes here and there. I'll show you them on mine in a minute, and I do think that the blending of the paint on the beak it could be a little nicer, but those are very small in comparison to the overall wonderful package that we get from Bandai for this release. We have fantastic texturing on the wings when it comes down to the sculpt. The beak looks phenomenal with a whole bunch of little hillish areas, if you will. The beak does have fantastic texture to it. All of the spikes on Fire Rodan are actually kind of pointy. And if you take a real close-up look at those wings, guess what? You can actually see they applied little blue veins, which are one of the major characteristics of this figure. Whether or not you're going to be taking a look at the fantastic spray on Rodan's chest, the main portion of his torso all the way down to his, his crotch area, and on some of the orange parts on the wings, this figure looks fantastic with an amazing sculpt and paint application that is also on par. Overall, in the looks department, yes, there are a couple of small quality control issues that may vary from figure to figure, because we all know anyone can get a crapshoot of a figure, and, mine has a little bit of paint wear, but other than that, this thing looks amazing and beats the pants off basically any modern day MonsterArts. For articulation, Fire Rodan here, Bandai did the best that they could, but quality control here, in particular, really crept up on this release, and this is where it gets hit the most. What do we have? Well, we do have a ball-jointed mouth. So for the jaw, opens and closes about that much. We can't get some side-to-side movement, but it is what it is. Here's where things start to go downhill. Fire Rodan has a whole bunch of loose joints. It's not just on mine, it's on plenty of others as well. Where is the first one here? Well, we do have a system of ball joints here where everything plugs in, so this way we can get Fire Rodan to look up, to look down, side to side, turn the head around, and for the head to constantly pop off. Not fun there. But yes, we do have a whole bunch of ball joints in the neck, so this way Fire Rodan can easily get into a flying pose or not, and the ball joints don't want to cooperate. So, yeah, that's cool. Now, moving on down from there, we don't have any joints here in the body for like an ab crunch or whatnot, which is kind of weird because even the Revoltech had that. But anyway, we do have a couple of ball joints and whatnot in the wings where they plug into the body. Oddly enough here, this portion of the sculpt does not move, but here on this wing it does. So I do think that we have a quality control issue here, whether or not that's going to be paint that's stuck or something else. I don't know. But that doesn't move for me. But yes, we do have some ball joints this way we can get Rodan's wings to kind of go like that. So that's always cool. And they flap. As you can clearly see, we do have a couple of hinges here, so this way Rodan can tuck his wing in or all the way out. Basically, if you want to do stop motion for flapping, works perfectly fine here. Now, we do have actual swivels here where Rodan's hands are at, up on the wings. And is that about it? Yeah, that's about it there. There's nothing else hidden there. So hands move up and down. Now, for the legs, we do have ball-jointed hips, but they basically only work in a V-cut swivel motion. Just kind of like that. So outside to side, not really. No, just kind of swivel, which is a bit sad. Yeah. And you also got to be careful of the sculpt moving into stuff, and yeah, not good. We do have single hinge knees. And then for the ankles, basically standard action figure style. We do have hinging forward and back, just like so. And then we have ankle rocker movement, as you can see here. So this way, when Rodan is flying, you can get his legs in a couple of different poses. So this way, if you want him maybe swooping in, you can do that. Or if they're just kicked back in the air, you can do that as well. So that's pretty nice. Last and certainly least, we have the tail. A couple of ball joints that just love to pop off. This is the biggest issue folks have with Fire Rodan, and I can't say that I blame them. So we do have a couple of ball joints here that basically equate to some pretty nice tail movement, but it just keeps falling off. And honestly, there are some people who have lost this little sleeve that you saw earlier, and it's just completely tanked the value of their figure. So that goes off, and then you just pop this bad boy back on, and that's your Fire Rodan for the rest of eternity. And you're even going to see in the accessory section, I struggle with that a little bit. So, yeah, Fire Rodan's articulation, it works. Mine's a little inconsistent, and the quality control, yeah, that kind of knocks it down a peg or two. Not great. All right, so it looks great and it moves halfway decent, but guess what? Fire Rodan comes with a ton of accessories that makes this figure purchase worth it alone if you don't necessarily care for Rodan. What exactly do we have? Well, we do get 2 Tamashii Stage Act 4 bases, along with 3 support arms to go with 1 uranium heat beam, 1 red spiral ray, and 1 flying support stand for Fire Rodan. We do also get 1 little nice display base for Fire Rodan. It's kind of a little peg that sticks out of the base, and yeah, it's not that great. And then we also get a battle-damaged head for the Heisei Mechagodzilla. Do note, you cannot use this with the recently released Super Mechagodzilla, the one that comes packaged with Garuda. Yeah, so we get a lot of accessories. Fortunately, though, it'll be very easy to look through all of them. First and foremost, let's go over the display bases, so this way it's nice and easy. Rodan comes with 2 of them. One is just your standard Tamashii Stage Act 4 display base. Chances are you probably have at least 5 of them, but this one has glitter in it. Ooh, fancy schmancy. The other one is kind of the same thing, except for it has a nice Fire Rodan logo on it, which, you know what, this is really cool. It's nice to see that Bandai was able to add a nice personal touch akin to the Mothra and Batra display bases that we got a few years back as well. Now to go with Fire Rodan, we get this nice little peg that Rodan kind of rests on, and I gotta be honest with you, it's kind of garbage. Slight bump, Rodan will fall off. What's much better, though, is he does get a flying cradle that sits on top of one of those support arms, and all you have to do is just put Rodan on there. And I gotta be totally honest with you, when you have a bunch of cats that are rolling around and they slam into your dresser and Rodan's sitting on top, don't worry, Rodan will not fall off. It takes a lot to get him to fall. Now we're going to take a look at Mechagodzilla's battle-damaged head, and you just swap this out easy enough. On the normal Heisei Mechagodzilla release, the second one in the line, by the way, pop the head off, and then pop this new one on. Now with this one, this is meant to recreate when Fire Rodan poked out Mechagodzilla's eye in the movie Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. So this is a great touch for an iconic, well, I don't know, mostly iconic instance in a movie where 2 kaiju were fighting. You don't get accessories like that today. Now we're going to move on over to the red spiral ray, and wow, Bandai went all out for this one. It is a unique sculpt, not one that we've seen with the original release of Godzilla or any of the Godzilla accessory packs. It's fantastic. It is very long, it is made of red translucent plastic, it has little electricity spirals around it, similar to King Ghidorah's gravity beams, and it has gold spray to it to really bring out some coloration for Godzilla, whether or not it's going to be when he's getting really mad and firing off against Space Godzilla, or if it's going to be burning Godzilla. And of course, because of the way that it's sculpted, this is compatible with all of the Heisei Godzilla releases, whether or not it's going to be the original or Burning Godzilla. And I have shown this plenty of times with some other Godzillas, so let's actually show it with the original Godzilla in this review. Finally, for the accessory section, we're going to be taking a look at your uranium beam for Rodan. And yeah, it is kind of warped, and I'm just going to call it as it is. I mean, what does that look like, guys? Yeah, okay, so it is pretty cool, but the sculpt, Ben, I didn't really think that one through. No, they didn't. But yeah, it is nice. It has a nice pinkish, purplish coloration to it. Very cool. The only issue that I have with this one and the red spiral ray, if you look closely, you can see a couple of black floaters in there from the production process. Not great, but I'll kind of let it slide. So overall, for the accessories for Fire Rodan, honestly, this is exactly what anyone could ask for in the SH MonsterArts line. We get a relatively small figure with a ton of accessories, and they honestly could not have added in any more, except for maybe that little container that had Baby Godzilla in it, but maybe that will be saved for a future release. Of course, if you do need more accessories though, like maybe some effect parts, click that card in the top right hand corner of your screen, so this way we can get you hooked up with some effect parts that you might need today. Now we are going to finish off this review with a size comparison, and as you guessed it, Fire Rodan is rather small. Honestly though, he's kind of in scale, so that is a good thing. I say kind of because I do think he should be a bit bigger, but still, it's great to see a mostly accurately scaled Rodan in the SH MonsterArts line. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Rodan looks fantastic with a couple of small quality control issues that may vary from unit to unit, and mine is unfortunately scuffed up. The articulation really isn't that great with some real fiddly bits, but the accessories completely make up for any frustrations that you might have there. So at MSRP, which was about $45 if I remember correctly, this was an absolute bargain. We get a nice iconic kaiju with a ton of accessories that you can use for many other figures in the line, and this is something that the SH MonsterArts line has not been able to recreate for many years now. I have to say, if you're able to get this guy for a good price, not the absolutely insane $150 that some aftermarket outlets are charging, yeah, I would say go ahead and get this. I would top out somewhere around $90 if he is complete. Make sure you get all of the accessories. All in all though, for MSRP, it is an amazing release, and you should have got it at the time that it was released. But today, dial back those expectations a little bit, and I think you'll be mostly satisfied. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links, like the credits for this video, and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.